Hey folks, Sandstorm slash Gungrave here. Welcome to the next episode in my series. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm a Grandmaster Moira main, and I've been kind of doing a little episode, or rather a little series about my adventures in Grandmaster. In the last episode, actually, I had posted a VOD review of a Plat slash Diamond Moira gameplay. So if you're Plat and Diamond or Diamond and are looking to improve your game, check out my previous episode, where again I do give some pointers on how to up your game as a Moira to try to, I guess, climb the ladder and reach GM. Now it's been a long time actually since my last video, and I guess I have been up to something on the side. I was actually kind of like a self, how do you call it? A self challenge, you could say. So what I have here, Gungrave, is actually one of my ancient accounts from really back at I guess, actually, no, I've had this account for maybe well over 10 years now. Um, when Overwatch came out, I dabbled in Overwatch on this account, but only for the first few seasons. And actually, I think I kind of trolled my very last season. So competitive season one, I don't even remember what this means. Competitive season two, I was at 2,400, playing mainly Soldier. Then I started playing a little bit of Lucio, Gold 2000. And then season four, if I recall correctly, I was just kind of, I don't want to say I was a thrower, but I definitely wasn't trying as hard. So then I placed bronze. Okay, so when I actually when I came back to this account in this current competitive season, I did place in bronze. And my challenge to myself was to see if I could go from bronze to GM, to do one of those bronze to GM challenges in one season. And that was kind of the hope. Uh, it was the aim, really. Now, unfortunately, there are 5 days left in competitive, and I am likely not going to be seeing that happen, as I've actually come down with a severe ear infection in both ears. So I've got 0% hearing in my right ear, and I've got maybe like 30 to 40% hearing in my left ear. So I'm essentially playing this game like deaf, and playing competitive deaf is actually really difficult. Uh, but anyways, so yeah, I guess you know what, rip that dream. I am happy I made it at least to Masters, considering some of the bumps in the roads, and actually some of those bumps. Well, let's talk about the, I guess, road from bronze to Masters, to low Masters, where I'm currently at. But again, a reminder, I am a low GM player. Okay, so that's on my main account. Um, so actually, surprisingly, in bronze, so I'm going to talk about the people first. I found that bronze players were some of the happiest, cheeriest, funniest people I've ever met on Overwatch. I actually really enjoyed my time in bronze. That was so much fun. Met some really cool people, and likewise with silver. So I found bronze and silver players were pretty chill, were pretty nice, and I guess they were really in it to have a good time. And I guess that's the thing. They're not really in it. Well, I don't know, right? Like, but I guess they don't have that, stress of wanting to climb the ladder as much as, for example, a player that's like on the on the edge of reaching masters when they're currently in diamond, or a master player who's just about to hit GM and really wants to get there, right? I've actually found that they were just chill and really nice people. So a lot of those people are actually made their way onto my friends list, and yeah, maybe hopefully someday we'll get to play a little bit together. Now after silver, you get into gold. Now, actually, hold on. In bronze and silver, one of the major issues is there's just no coordination whatsoever. Like, people are just kind of off doing their own thing. Like, you never have full-on team fights as you would in some of the higher elos, just because I guess people are just kind of doing their own thing, right? And like I wasn't there to ruin anyone's gameplay, so I didn't really want to, tell people what to do, and I didn't want to be like, "Hey, I'm a Smurf, listen to me," as some people can be, and so I didn't really want that. So most of the time, I actually didn't communicate in voice chat, or if someone did say something in voice chat, then I'd answer to them. But I didn't really want to. I don't know. I didn't want to like affect the game. I wanted people to enjoy the game, and if it was a win, then I wanted people to feel good about that, and I didn't want them to be like, "Oh, we only won because we had a Smurf on our team," kind of thing. So I didn't really talk about any of that. Um, so yeah, and same thing with silver. So bronze and silver are pretty close. Gold is kind of where you started seeing, like I started like people were still nice in gold. Um, Maybe like high gold, I started noticing people being really toxic. And also in gold, that's kind of where like I guess the game started sort of having some semblance of structure. Like obviously for I guess for me who's been playing at like a GM level or high masters slash low GM level, uh, for me it was like it was actually really hard to play um, at the gold level because in bronze and silver, it was just kind of like a random free for all, whatever. So like, as soon as I figured that out, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing, then I'll just kind of do my own thing too, right? But then when you hit gold and people kind of start wanting to play together and make call outs, and some of those call outs are really bizarre, and you're just like, wait, hold on, like that's not the right call and all that stuff. So yeah, anyways, gold was still really fun. People are still overall very, very nice and positive. And that's kind of where you started noticing some form of structure to the game. And then you get plat. And plat, oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Plat was the most toxic experience for me. Um, I think at the very least, one out of every two games, there had to be at least a couple of toxic players, and it was ridiculous. And like I just remember, oh man, I wish I still had these avoids on my lists, but I remember this one tank player. I don't know what their name was, but anyways, and actually, anyways, so it sounded relatively young on voice chat, right? So it's like you try to talk sense to, I guess, a really, really, not a really young person, but I would say they were at least 16, 17, maybe 18 years of age. But it's just not coming across. And anyways, I don't want to get right into the specific, but anyways, Plat was so toxic, so toxic. I don't know why. I have no idea. Obviously, people are trying to play a little bit more, I guess, as a cohesive group, you could say. Uh, Plat for me, like, so climbing out of bronze, silver, gold, climbing out of plat, all of that was actually pretty easy. Um, yeah, yeah, I think that was pretty easy. And then you hit diamond. And I will tell you this, I was stuck in diamond elo hell for 4 days. And if anyone ever tells you elo hell does not exist, I promise you, I swear to you, they're lying. I was stuck at 3100 to 3200 for 4 freaking days, man. It was crazy. Like it was it was like one of those, like I would go and maybe I'd have like I don't know 3 or 4 hours at hand, like free, and I'd get on and I'd be like, okay, let's climb. I got to get out of this elo hell. And I would some like on some of those days I actually walked away negative. Like it's a terrible feeling sitting down um, at 3100 elo and sitting down for 3 hours in a row and then getting up and walking away lower than where you started. So yeah, no, I don't know. Diamond was just, I think people were trying to make calls, but again they were like really wrong calls. Tanks were way overextending. Um, I don't know what it was about Elo Hell. Like it was just 4 days at 3100 to 3200. I was stuck. It was crazy. Um, yeah, like if I didn't have my main at a GM, I might have thought it was me. Like I was like, is it my fault? Like is it something I'm doing wrong or something? I don't know. But anyways, uh, so yeah, so that's kind of Diamond. Finally broke out of Elo Hell and into, as you can see, Low Master. And I've actually found that playing at the High Diamond slash Low Master games is way easier than playing in those 4 days of 3100, 3200 Elo Hell. Just because I don't know, like no matter what you do, you just couldn't get a win, or you just couldn't walk away positive. And it was actually, it was quite tilting, I have to be honest. It was very tilting, especially when they started blaming the healers, especially when they started blaming, like myself. And like, I don't like flexing. I don't like being like, "Hey, shut up, I'm a GM Smurf." Like, but it's hard. It's hard not to. Like, it's like, how do you explain to this guy that's overextending and not getting heals, or this guy that's perched up on I don't know where and is not getting heals and he's not peeking for heals or anything, that they're dying because of poor game sense and they don't know where their healers are? Like, I'm not gonna go and walk up like 3 flights of stairs in Temple of Anubis to be able to heal you in that corner that you're hiding, you know? Like, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, that was my experience, and I was actually really surprised. Just like, I guess, walking away from this little experience from bronze to, I guess, low masters, unfortunately, in one season, uh, I really enjoyed my time in bronze and silver, and I guess somewhat in gold. I found people in those elos were pretty chill and happy and just kind of playing to have fun. And then when I ran into, I guess, high gold slash plat slash diamond, especially that elo hell section, that's where people were really just super toxic. And yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's my those are my thoughts. Now, I did have a video review that I wanted to go over with you guys, of one of actually the last game that I just played. Uh, Again, I'm the dream is at an end for this season. I'm not gonna be trying to go from bronze to GM on this account this season. There's only 5 days left, and again, I'm completely, like, pretty much completely deaf in one ear and maybe like 30-40% hearing in the other ear. So yeah, that's not really fun. It's actually really challenging to play without really being able to hear what's happening around you. So yeah, anyways, I am gonna do a VOD review, or no, sorry, a replay of like a commentary of my replay. Um, I did want to talk about the Brig experimental changes. Now, take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I'm by no means a Brig expert, and you can probably get some better feedback on these experimental changes that Brig, I guess, is undergoing. If you go to the Overwatch experimental patch notes from June 23rd, you'll notice that there is a little section about Brigitte there. So if you didn't know that she's up for change relatively soon, especially if these goes through. Now Brig in the higher elos, which means I guess GM, is really strong. She's super strong, because in the higher elos, a lot of times what happens is that you get a lot of like Tracer duels or Genji duels. So you get some of those like squishy duels, you could say. And the reason why Brig was so powerful was because she was actually able to give them armor, right? And if they were full health, then you're still going to get 50 health, additional armor health. So that was pretty much a game changer, right? Like a Tracer that's going up against another Tracer that has an extra 50 armor health is probably going to lose, right? Like, because again, the skill level up in the higher elos, they're so evenly matched that you get that 50 health advantage. Well, you're pretty much won that duel. Okay, and then once you win that duel, it becomes a 6v5, and I guess in the higher elos, teams know how to capitalize on a one-man advantage. Okay, so Brigitte's repair pack is no longer granting additional armor health when healing full health targets. That's going to be huge. That's actually going to change how you play Brigitte, and that's, at least to me. Okay, to me that's going to change, right? Because you're no longer pocketing your squishies, you're no longer pocketing that Tracer slash Genji, ensuring that they win out on that duel. You're now just going to be using it as just a healing pack, really. So now you could just use it again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not a GM at Brig, but you could probably just use that on, just like your tank. Like your tank is down however much health, well, 200 health, okay, just throw a health back on him, right? So it's not going to be about pocketing, as far as I can tell, it's not going to be about pocketing your squishies or your squishy DPS on your team. Now, her barrier shield got increased from 200 to 250, which is really nice, but the regeneration rate got decreased from 100 to 85 health. Okay, so she's not able to regen her shield as fast, and then even worse, because she's not able to regen her shield as fast, that also means that her shield could potentially break, you know, well, I don't want to say break faster because again, it is you did go from a 200 to a 250 increase. So even though the regeneration rate went from 100 to 85, it doesn't mean that the shield is going to break faster or anything like that. But the issue is that they actually did make it so that if the shield does break, well, the cooldown before it starts regenning went from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, and that's huge. That's going to be huge. So no more armor. Yeah, no, sorry, no more extra armor from health packs. She got a buff to her shield, but the shield regens slower, and if it breaks, it's down for 5 seconds, which is huge. That's a long time for your shield to be down. So I don't know. Like I feel like Brig is definitely not gonna be viable in the higher elos. That's actually that's at least my take on it. I think that there's gonna be some better options. Even if Brigitte still grants armor with her ultimate, like it's a very strong ultimate. You know, Brig's ultimate is ridiculously strong, super strong. Especially if you have like a nice brawl composition that you know they're all in your range and radius and they're able to all get that armor, right? But still, I think that there are now going to be some better options, especially when you combine that with the recent Genji buffs. Like Genji got significant buffs recently, and I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more Genji play in the higher elos and maybe in Overwatch League. I don't know yet, we'll see. But I think that to capitalize on those Genji buffs, I think we're probably going to start seeing a lot more Mercy as well. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you're going to start seeing a lot more Mercy. I personally think Brig is going to be almost non-existent in GM play. At least that's my take. Especially because when you think about it, when they removed that armor, they technically removed some of Brig's healing output, right? Like the fact that they just removed the fact that you can't like over armor people, you technically removed her healing output. So they decreased her healing output, but they didn't make up for it in any other way, right? Like if they wanted to remove that aspect of, you know, like granting additional armor to DPS squishies, you know, that 50 health, they wanted to remove that. Like I get that, because you know, I personally think that didn't really have its place in the game, just because again, like a two, you know, I don't know, a squishy like a tracer with the armor pack is gonna beat out a tracer that doesn't have an armor pack on her, right? So like to me that was kind of not fair, but they also didn't really do anything about making up for that, you know. Like and Brig is never like you're never gonna get gold healing as Brig, and if you do, that means your other support's doing something wrong, right? So they didn't like, for example, like here's something I would have liked to see for Brig. They should have decreased her, I don't know, the whip shot or that whatever that flail is called, that whip shot, like her shift. They should have decreased that cooldown by 1 second, something like that, just so that you have more chances of getting your Inspire uptime, you know, like so you can get more Inspire uptime, really, essentially, right? So that's what I would have liked to see, but I don't know, like. Yeah, so that's really my take on Brig. I think she's not going to be seeing a lot of use in GM. I think that she's going to like some of the people that can do the shield dance really well are, you know, like good on you guys. I think that Inspire uptime is now going to be even more crucial because that's going to be like your main source of healing, and since you don't give armor with your armor packs anymore, like that's even more important. But yeah, no, I think Brig, if these experimental changes go through, I think Brig will definitely suffer a little bit. That's at least my take on it. But other than that, let's get right to it. Okay, that's enough about these other supports. I am a Moira main, so I can at least guide you guys through this. So, in my recent game from 51 minutes ago, so it was a win 4-3, 17-minute long game. So let's check this out. Again, I find that these games in the low master are way easier than in low diamond. Oh god, I don't know. Elo hell exists, trust me. And actually I've grown fond of the glam skin. I don't know why. I've actually grown quite fond of the glam skin on this account. So I don't know, it looks pretty cool, I think. I don't know. What you guys think so? Looks pretty neat. I really like it actually. So anyway. Okay, so throwing out that early damage orb.
Power grows.
Oh wait, what did I bind? Do I have pause? Yeah, there we go.
Defend objective A.
Okay, and I think it got absorbed by a Sigma. I can't really hear what's going on.
If this is my will.
Okay. So this first bit was really hard. We had a Torbjorn and a Sombra, and actually that Sombra player was really no good. That Choke Me guy, he was not really outputting any pressure the entire game, but we still managed to, I guess, pull a win out of it. This Hanzo just sat up here the entire time, and I kept calling on comms, you know, like someone has to deal with that Hanzo, he's in the window, but no one's really doing anything about it.
I require assistance. Get into position.
Okay, so here I hear the Ash Dynamite, so I fade to avoid the explosion. Okay, so here I have no more juice. One of my major concerns with this match was that I felt like we didn't really have any pressure, like any frontline pressure. Most of the time it was just Reinhardt up there. And, you know, like, I think also the Reinhardt could have played a little bit more back as well. He could have played a little bit safer. But yeah, we just didn't have any, like, frontline pressure, and it's just Rein versus everyone else. So I'm running out of juice really, really quickly in this match because, again, Rein's just taking a ton of damage. He's just standing up there alone, him versus, you know, their frontline.
Allow me to repair the damage. Under the Yeshu. Heroes never die. Will made real.
So as I said, like, it's always Rein versus frontline. And like I get the our Roadhog is back there, you know, like flanking, but it's really hard when it's just Rein versus everyone. Okay, so there Brig pops her ultimate. So that was a good shatter by Orion, because we were able to get rid of that because we were already down our other support as well. Yeah, so here I'm pretty low on juice and I run out of heals and Rein dies. So that's the thing, there's just too much pressure on our Rein, and even with Moira Mercy, like, they're just getting a lot of value from having Sigma Zarya on their front line, and even more so with Brig being able to be in that tussle range.
Objective lost. New defense point. Objective B. Don't worry, my friend. Restoring you.
Okay, so it's just about kind of maintaining that balance.
Get into position.
Heal, drain, heal, drain. And again, he's under a lot of pressure, so I just decide to use my coal. And I don't know what to do for that diva. Like, he's calling for help, but like, hit it. Okay, so again, trying to bounce that orb on a flat surface so that I get as much value from it as possible. There's not much I can do here, so. Honestly, it just feels like their front line was better than ours. That's all that it was. Like, the Roadhog got a few picks from flanking, but not enough to make it worth, you know, the Rein versus all. As well, our Sombra wasn't really doing anything. Yeah, like, look, the rash is popping off. But our Sombra was really just not doing anything at all. So yeah, that's a loss on the first map. So again, mainly because it's Rein versus everyone else. We had our hog flanking. He got like 1 or 2 picks, if I remember correctly. Not enough to make it worth it to not have that off tank, you know, like playing on the front line with Reinhardt. And then we also had the Sombra that wasn't really doing much either. So that's those were the issues on that first round. Maybe I'll skip forward a little bit so we can actually get right down to it.
There's work to be done.
Sorry guys, I don't have my usual energy. Like the pain from this ear infection is just out of this world. And it's crazy how much pain this ear infections are.
Injured again.
Okay. And actually, here's something interesting. I wanted you guys to take a look at where I just threw that orb. If you throw that orb right there, it'll actually bounce off of 2 walls and come back to where the enemy team is currently standing. So there I see that my Rhine is heading right, and I see that some members of my team are heading left. I don't know why, really. Again, it's that whole issue is, you know, our Rhine versus their entire front line. So yeah, so by bouncing it there, you're actually gonna, that orb is gonna go around that little truck in front of you, and it'll come back to where the enemy team is, right? So I'm actually getting more value out of that orb throwing it that way than just like throwing it where just like Rhine is. Okay, so I'll actually back up a little bit and let you guys take a look at that.
5, 4, 3, 2.
So yeah, so that's a really good place, you know, like when you've got team fights going where the truck is, that's a good place for you to throw your orb at.
Injured again.
Okay, so I'll pause right when I throw the orb. So right there, that's where you throw it.
This will restore you.
You'll see that it bounces there, 1, 2, and it's back to a run.
This will heal you. Not yet. I'm the yes. Get into position.
Not actually sure why our other support went. Okay, so hold on. Maybe I'll talk about that.
I'm the yes.
So yeah, it's just about trying to keep him up. Okay, when this happens, you have to be vocal on team chat, right? Like you have to tell your tank when they're behind the Sigma shield or behind some other shield and you can't heal them. You have to let them know, because sometimes they just don't know, right? Like maybe sometimes the Sigma sends it out after and he doesn't actually know that he's not getting heals because the healers can't see him, or can't I guess they can't get their heals across to him because of the Sigma shield blocking them. So you just have to let the tanks know, just, you know.
This will heal you.
So here I was like, okay, Sigma shield behind you, so he starts backing up. But yeah, our other Ana, or our other support doesn't actually have any hours on Ana, so I'm not sure why he went to Ana. He's a mercy mate. Yeah, I don't know. I did get 39% healing, like team damage taken, healed or whatever. Which is actually kind of nice when you think about it, but this guy I think was the only diamond on our team, so it makes sense. But it's nice because he's a main healer, right? So just getting 39% when the other healer is a main healer too, that's huge, at least in my books.
Injured again.
Okay, so here I'm like thinking, okay, our Ryan's going in by himself. Again, this is not ideal. Like, this is not good in terms... And actually, like, I don't know, you can't really blame the Ryan, because he plays, I guess, in a way where he's expecting, like, you know, an actual off tank, and not like this troll off tank. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the Roadhog actually went on one of these little flying platforms in his attempt to go flank. So like, and like I get that, like I get, you know, if Roadhog flanks and picks their Ana support or their Brig support. You know, that's huge, right? Like that could win you the fight. But again, the Rhine is playing in a way where he's thinking that he has, I guess, a Zarya off tank, you know, maybe like a Doomfist, some close range fighting kind of players, but he really doesn't. So yeah, I guess we do have a Doomfist, but I don't know where he is right now. Okay, so here I hear him use his ultimate. So first of all, that is such a bad. I don't want to be mean towards this Ryan, but that was a really bad ultimate. Just because, A, there's no one to follow up behind it, on it, right? Like, so what's the point? Like, and actually, he doesn't even he doesn't even land his ultimate, but that's okay. Like, you can, you know, sometimes you miss your ult and all that stuff. You know, and Sigma's shield is right up on his face, but again, no one's behind him to follow up on that ultimate. So that's something that I actually I mentioned in voice chat later. I was like, hey guys, you know, it'd be nice if we could, you know, keep an eye on Ryan, and Ryan, it'd be nice if you're gonna say, if you could like share that you're about to ult. That way we know. But yeah, like I had my little sneaking suspicion there. So as soon as I see him ultimate, that's why I shift in, because I know he's gonna be taking a ton of damage.
This will restore its strength flows from you. This will heal you.
So here it's just about trying to keep your teammates alive. And actually, something maybe worth noting about this particular second point on Volskaya, a lot of times, like, it's really easy to get in the habit of just, not the habit, but like, to get so into the action that you're like, oh my god, this person must absolutely die, that you start being a DPS Moira on this point. Just try not to do that. It's so much more important to keep your teammates alive here than it is for you to become a DPS Moira, right? So when there's like a ton of people around you, like I would say that if there's like 2 or 3 enemies around, try to still keep healing your team, right? Because if a member of your team dies, the run back is so long, right? Like if you start getting members dying on this point, you've pretty much lost the fight, because by the time, you know, by the time these people that died get back, well, other members will have died, right? So yeah, try to not get, I guess, give in to the lure of becoming a DPS Moira on this point. Now, that said, obviously it's different if they're coming in one by one, right? Like if the enemy team is coming in one by one, then absolutely, by all means, be a DPS Moira, throw that damage orb, and, you know, suck the life out of them so that they can just die that much quicker on point, or, well, you know, that much quicker.
Your power is mine.
Like here I see no one's at risk of dying, so I'm just gonna try to DPS.
Turning up my heat.
Okay, that was us winning that. Okay, so let's skip forward a little bit.
I will get us home safe.
Okay, so now they have a Pharah, which is really bad. Just because we're sitting on that Sombra again, a Sombra and a Torbjorn, which, you know, like, if the Pharah gets within the Torb's turret range, then yeah, it'll do work on her, but she likely won't. Like, a good Pharah will just kill that turret from afar. So we didn't have anyone to really deal with the Pharah. So the issue here is actually, we should not be playing that far up front with the Pharaohs on top of us, right? So that's something I guess maybe the tanks could get better at. I was telling them on voice chat, you know, we're gonna have to fall back a little bit. You can't be this far up front, because literally the Pharaoh just has to look up, or sorry, she just has to float above this archway and just shoot at us, right? And there's nothing we can do about it, because the Rhine's not gonna hold his shield facing up, right? Okay, so that's just me kind of taking quick checks, because I know she's a huge threat. I get low, so there's not really much I can do about the flanking Roadhog. Okay, so this This is where we should have been fighting. Like, we should have been fighting back here, so that the Pharaoh wasn't able to just get so many free rockets on us.
Targets neutralized. Thank you.
60 seconds.
Thankfully, we do get a McCree,
My
though.
ultimate ability
Objective
charged.
lost.
The power of
New
destruction.
defense point. Objective B.
Repairing the damage.
Okay, so I'm just trying to keep the tanks alive, which is not really easy when D.Va's off doing her own thing.
Allow me to repair the damage. Restoring you.
Okay, so I see that Ryan is almost dying, so I just decided to use Cole to keep him up. In my Cole beam, I'm trying to keep both Ryan and, you know, hit some enemies with it.
Your fame a hold. I will be blessed. Got you. This will heal you.
30 seconds remaining.
Okay, so I'm already at 55% coalescence. Most of that from healing, actually. It's
Get into position.
crazy how... Okay, so Anna sleeps Bob, but I was already right-clicking him, so by the time I realized she had slept him, like I was still right-clicking, so he woke up. So that's kind of what happened there.
EMP activated.
But at least that EMP saved us, so that's good. I think that's like the first good thing. Here, Baptiste is really low, but no one's focusing him. And I guess that's maybe just low master, but... Sorry, I went back a little bit.
30 seconds
Baptiste should never, or any support being that low should never be able to get away. Like the focus, the priority is killing that Baptiste. And maybe, I don't know, maybe our McCree didn't really have a good line of sight on him, or I don't know, but he should have died.
Step right up.
10 seconds remaining.
Gale the Mahal. I'm on fire.
Okay, so let's skip forward a little bit.
I heard.
Defend objective A.
I will rebuild this with my will.
Yeah, that orb, that kind of took me by surprise, the fact that it bounced back again. Okay, hold on, go back up a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure where that orb connected, but I really thought it was going to bounce to my right, but it just kind of bounced exactly back, so I'm not sure what it hit.
I will rebuild this.
What did it hit? Oh,
Group up with me.
it might have, I don't know. But anyways, it bounced back weird. Okay, so again, he overextended beyond the shield. He's really low really quickly because it's, like, just look at this. It's him versus, how many players can I see there? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see 4 players. So this is a waste, like, just be healing, wasting all my juice like that. Like, not that it's a waste, but again, if the team was better coordinated, they could have been fighting together. If our Roadhog was more interested in being like a Zarya with his Rhine or something like that, that would have been better. Then I could have, you know, that juice would have gone to better use. Would have kept 2 of them up instead of 1. Would have given me more alt charge. So just things like that, you know, like people, like when people kind of pick their characters, they don't really think about the impact that it'll have on everyone else in the team. So yeah, I don't know, like just some things there.
This will heal you.
Adieu.
Thankfully, our Widow does get quite a few picks here. So actually, this is mainly one because of our Widow. Anna disappeared there. I was like, what the heck? Where'd you go?
Allow me to repair the damage.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, so just Widow getting those picks. Yeah, no, really thank God for that DPS player, because that choke me guy wasn't really doing anything.
Rien ne peut plus m'arrêter.
My shots find them.
Objective A captured.
Join with me.
New defense point. Objective B.
I cast this form. Cease your strength.
Okay, so here I'm just trying to build up my goal as fast as possible. Try to use it as fast as possible. Unfortunately, Ashe uses her ult. Bob kills Ryan, and pretty much this fight is lost.
Power of destruction.
Okay, so
I'm restored.
when the fight is lost, either you can get out, like if you think you really can get out, then get out, or just die on point, right? Like you don't want to be getting staggered. So this is actually a mistake on my part. I should have just let myself die right there rather than, I guess, prolong the fight or, you know, try to drain someone or anything like that. But I really did think that I could get away. But what happens is that this Orisa halt actually throws me off. Like, throws off my coordination. Like, I kind of get lost for a second there. So that when I do fade, I fade completely wrong. Like, that fade was meant to be going outside, but that Orisa halt just threw me off. So, this is not a good situation because then you're dying, you're getting staggered and you're dying after your teammates. And the longer that period of time is, like the longer they can keep you alive. Like look at this, like the Rhine is pretty much already back and I'm still
There was a flaw.
just getting out of spawn. So that's a huge stagger actually. So we just have time for one more fight.
This will heal you.
Okay, so we're just trying to run away from that window.
Behind the ashes.
Okay, notice that I'm always trying to get as much information as possible from my surroundings. So when you're healing, don't just sit there and just stare at your tanks and just like heal and stop and then heal and stop, right? Like you want to get as much information as possible. So here I'm healing, I was looking left. I was trying to see if I could see down that little alley, see if there was anyone incoming. I noticed that I'm actually too far up front, so then I actually start stepping back to be able to look again. Okay, so it's all about getting that kind of information. I know some top Ana players will also give you that information or that kind of advice as well, right? Like some Ana players will tell you, you know what, that little delay between each shot, I don't know how long it is, I don't play Ana, but whatever that delay is, they say look off to get as much information as possible. So don't just sit aiming at your Reinhardt and just like pump him just one dart after the other without moving. You want to be like shoot a dart, look to your left, you know, see is there anyone, come back, shoot, look, you know, that's kind of what they're doing, and that's kind of what I'm doing here as well.
30 seconds.
Tell me how this feels.
So we actually do manage to grab a win despite the fact that we've all been hacked and Ryan goes down here. Our Ana nanos Ryan. Okay. Our Ana nanos Ryan, so he's able to take care of that. And also our Widow has been a really good player. So good job on you, Senya. I don't know if you'll ever watch this video, but yeah, he did really good this game. So Moira is one of the few, if not the only person that can deal with an Orisa bong like that. Okay, so when Orisa uses her bong, pretty much the expectation is Moira, you are getting rid of that bong. Okay, so that's why I did this. Like I knew that Roadhog was using a lot of, Roadhog was ulting and he was nanoed, so I'm pretty sure anyone in front of him was pretty much game over. And so my role here is to get rid of this bong. Maybe I'll just back up a little bit and let you guys watch this over again.
30 seconds.
Tell me how this feels. Gale the Mahon.
Okay, and as soon as her bong dies, I turn my focus back to Roadhog, make sure he doesn't die, see what's happening, heal up my other support, right click as they start staggering in, while making sure no one dies, and that's it, that's the game.
Victory.
Okay, Alright guys, well I hope this was helpful. Again, my apologies in advance. I don't really have my usual focus and my usual energy. Again, this ear infection is in both ears is just killing me. It's so painful. And it also did bring my, I guess, Bronze to GM dream to an end for this season. RIP. But anyways, please feel free to drop your comments below. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was, like made sense to you guys. And if you had any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you soon in my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.